George is recognized. Hey, Kelly.
A.G. Garland, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for all that you have done. And I know that you were just here in September. And I want to commend you for being so responsive to your duties and to the American public. Being the Attorney General is a very difficult job. And still, I am proud of the work that you've done thus far and of your sound judgment, very sound judgment, as you navigate these investigations and requests, as these decisions will set the precedent for attorney generals and others that come behind you in the future. And of those decisions setting a precedent, I would like to focus on a problem plaguing our nation, just as my colleague, Mr. Neguse, did as well, gun violence. We have lost thousands of Americans to gun violence. I just came from another event in the same dealing with gun violence. Yet there are officials and others in power that continue to push back on just simple common sense legislation, rulemaking, and other efforts that can save the lives of our children and our families and keep our communities so much more safe. The DOJ just issued a proposed rule to update the definition of frame or receiver, which would regulate so-called ghost guns, the same as traditional firearms. And this life-saving rule is now being challenged. The DOJ issued a proposed rule to clarify restrictions on short-barreled rifles. This life-saving rule is also being challenged. The DOJ published a rule to update the definition of engaged in business regarding the sale of firearms, and this life-saving rule is also being challenged. Now, I'm all for accountability and transparency and protecting our constitutional rights, but these challenges are not put forth with any of those goals in mind. They are harmful, and they're put in place so that the gun lobby can continue cashing checks regardless of how many lives in this country that we lose every single day. Common sense gun safety legislation does move us to a safer America. And no law enforcement officer in this country, whether they be state or local or federal, should be put in danger because some of our American leaders fail to see the bigger picture of the lives that can be saved and work towards that means. But in this country, we have teenagers who are just too afraid to even go to festivals in their communities anymore or parades because they recognize that it's likely a place that there might be another mass shooting. We have 5- and 6-year-olds in our classrooms that have learned more about active shooter drills than they probably have in their own academics. And we have an entire generation that's growing up thinking that their elected officials don't even care to protect them. I hear from them every single day. And that we're here in Washington only playing politics. And everyone here on this committee should be eager to find ways to protect the American public and to eliminate unlawful guns and the access and possession of them by people who simply should not have them. The steps that the DOJ is taking to clarify and protect those around firearms are the steps that we truly need to keep our community safe. We need to get back on track and worry about the actual issues that are affecting us today. So, A.G. Garland, I sincerely wish that you could be in your office today, really doing your work, the substantive work that you have been duly sworn to do with your team to implement the policies that are needed to protect our country and provide law enforcement with the tools that they need to track down criminals. So if you were not here today, just tell us, what work would you actually be doing instead of being here in front of us again today and having to be put through the ringer one more time?
Well, it's going to take a long explanation, but today, and I know you don't have time for it, the day begins with a threats briefing from the FBI and intelligence community about the threats this country is facing, both outside the United States and inside the United States. Threats from foreign terrorist organizations, from domestic violent extremists, from people intending to commit hate crimes. And we spend that time trying to allocate our resources and orienting our people so that they can deter and disrupt and prevent those attacks. That's what my morning would be, but it looks like we're out of time. So I'm happy to tell you what my afternoon would be if there's more time later.
Once again, I'm so sorry that you're being put through this again, but thank you for the work that you and your staff and all those that are tasked to support you are doing on behalf of the American people. Now you're back.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized. Mr. Moran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Garland, thank you for being here today and for your testimony. It will come as no surprise to you that my constituents